Welcome back, everybody. A look at what is slowly loading in. That's right. The walls of the good tower monstro. That's the name I think we're going with now. Alright. The good tower monstro are done. I went in and changed a few things. So, a lot of you probably know that I am in the process of doing a whole bunch of, well, just making sure that I've done everything I can to minimize frame rate lag, because we're getting a bunch of it in this particular section of the server. It actually is like localized to this area, which is fine, but I've done a bunch, and one of the things that I found really interesting is you can pick up the Mine Factory Reloaded Blackstone that I was using in here with a wrench. And so I kind of got this fear that maybe they were some sort of entity. It was really kind of unsubstantiated. I was going to go on a limb and say they just weren't. But I replaced them all with the black colored stone bricks from X Utilities, which I do much prefer in the long run. So I was really happy that that went down. There we go. So that was good. I don't know what Monikin's doing here. I was just about to break a block and hit him. But yeah, it's been a good, oh no, he is not. I gotta get a security terminal on this. Let's see if I can do this real quick. So yeah, I did manage to get a couple of things done. Actually, I managed to get a lot done, and you can probably see by some of the interesting things in my inventory that it's been a bit of an adventure of late. So I didn't have a lot of time to record recently, even though I was still on vacation and everything. But it was just a little difficult to find some time everywhere that I needed to find time. But finally, I've got a couple minutes here. I actually have a dentist appointment in like an hour to go and get some crowns put on. So that'll be fun. I don't know why he's hitting me. But in the meantime, let's see if we can't make a security terminal really quick without him realizing that we're even here. I don't know if I highly doubt I have all the things I need in here to make this happen, especially that 16K thing right there. Huh? Oh yeah, those, okay, no, that's fine. So let's see. I need a 16K, I need more than these, so let's go up here actually. Mono was helping us out actually. He was, originally he was kind of part of our base when we were in the hovel. But since then, evidently he has decided to branch out on his own. No, it was my my chunk buster, he couldn't handle it. He was like, nope, not doing that. So he has started his own base and he's been poaching off of me, but now it's time to put that to an end. How many of those did I just get? I don't know what just happened there, but that should be enough. So there's one 16K. And Papapui. I need a card. What are these cards called? Biometric card. Please have the, yes. And where do I want to put this? I was kind of hoping to put it somewhere relatively discreet, but it might be kind of difficult. I guess I can put it back here. It's pretty discreet. And this is the king card. This is everything, right? Yeah. Why can't I put it in the system? Oh, this is bizarre, actually. Am I forgetting something? Oh well, I'll figure that out off camera. Anyway, so let's talk about the base. So yes, I was able to finally build up the walls of the monolith. You hear some interesting sound effects as we go by, because, you know, some things are a little different. I did some work. I got some strange items in my inventory. I also have like 2,000 or so nether stars. I don't know if you guys saw that in the main system there. But if I fly on up here, all 4 sides are done like this, and I'll save you the journey up for both of these. But let's check out a couple things. So our nether star production was very slow, you guys remember last time. I fixed that. We're now having it craft up soul sand in a separate crafter, which is then put into the wither block. We're also crafting up wither skulls and then put into the wither killer, and they're just being held here by the semi interface. So what I've done, or the essences are, is right here I've set up a secondary farm just for crops I need to grow fast. So we can see here this one's not working because there's actually some redstone turned on. Because it was going so fast, it would have filled up my system pretty quick. I mean, it would have taken a little while, but you can see. And they're grown. It grows so fast. So this block here is from Quantum Flux. It's the imaginary time block. Very expensive to make. Speeds up the growth of crops one growth rate per tick or something like that. There's a config to make it a little different. Some manga alloy, which is just some steel around some magnesium dust, which is craftable. The energized crystals are what made this really expensive, and the ZBQs. So the energized crystals, you get 4 of them for another star, 4 Quibit crystals, and 4 ZBQs. Quibit crystals, not too terrible. The ZBQs, though, are quite expensive, as you can see. And you get 1, and they don't stack. So that was pretty pricey. But I have to make a bunch more of those things because I got some work to do. All right. So let's go on up here and talk about how we've built everything. Oh, let's show this off. So this has just been cruising along real nice. It's full of iron right now because it's just not that fast. I might add a couple more, but my thing is once it catches up, it should be good to go. So you can see it's crafting up some gold. It started with gold. It's working its way through to the different systems. And I have it set to each crafting recipe to keep an item, so it'll never take the last one out of a slot. So we're always going to be able to fill up with essence, which is great. Green comes out of the crafters. Blue goes into the crafters. So blue gets extracted from the chest, goes into the crafters for all of them, and it'll just put what it can fit where. Green will come out of the crafters and into the pulverizing ones, the grinders, I guess. And then it'll automatically output to the furnace, which will come out of brown and go into our tesseract, which is automatically being put back into our main system. Cool, right? So we got 18,000 gold, a lot of copper that's not textured. I didn't really realize that was going to happen. Some lead, some silver, some more copper. Iron is really what we're waiting on. Well, actually, my plan was to finish the building. I really wanted to, because we're fully moved out of all other chunks. I talked about that. Except for this, I had to put this down temporarily, and I'll show you why. So we're fully moved out of all other chunks except for chunks in other dimensions. But if you come up here to this floor, you hear a hissing that we're going to address. So I thought it'd be fun to get the building done to a degree where it's not me doing it. I actually built all of the black rows. All of the black rows, by default, I put in about half of them was blackstone. Then I crafted up about inventory and a half's worth of the black stone brick frequency. And then used an exchanger that I borrowed to exchange those. I've done a little bit of borrowing off camera, actually, with a couple of the guys to try and get some things done. So, anyways, the exchanger exchanged those, and I finished the build of a black. And really, that was the whole time I was thinking, what a good way of taking care of this build be where I don't have to do it by hand. And I finally figured it out. So I decided to go with drones from Pneumatic Craft, which are whole lots of fun. But my goodness, this mod has changed since I played with it last, which was ages ago. I remember thinking when we started up the pack that it didn't have Pneumatic Craft because you cannot find the seeds anywhere. Well, I was wrong. These seeds were turned off, I think, in generation, or are not. They don't generate the plants necessarily. You might be able to find the seeds if you break the grass, but I don't know. I don't remember seeing any. Maybe I saw some. No, you know, I think I did see some. That's a lie. But, anyways, basically, Pneumatic Craft is based around pressurized air as a power system, essentially. So the first thing you need to do is you need to make this pressure chamber, which is made out of these compressed iron blocks, which are made in the pressure chamber, or by putting iron down next to an explosion. So there's a couple of places here where you see some craters where I did some exploding. The first explosion I did controlled. I put on blast resistant blocks and stuff, and then I destroyed those blocks to make room for my build. Come on. Wow. There we go. Yeah, so that was awesome. And then basically what happened was, once I destroyed that, I built this floor and then put down the pressure chamber wall where I could then make more compressed iron and everything I needed, which started me down the huge rabbit trail that is Pneumatic Craft's plastic system now. That being said, it's way better than it used to be. Oh my gosh, Pneumatic Craft is actually fun for me now. The plastic system before made it abysmal. That in conjunction with the printed circuit system with the etching fluid that you need, also just awful. But we got lots of that stuff, and I'll explain that in a minute as well. So the first thing I did is I built these, or I built this, figured out how to get stuff in and out of it again because I forgot how to do that. I gotta make a bigger one, really. I might want to do some more work with Pneumatic Craft, so I gotta make a bigger one of these for sure. Then what I did, one sec, sorry about that. Anyways, so then what I did is I made a couple of basic air compressors, which are these guys. Basically just stick some coal in it, make a pressure tube, which are pretty cheap, and I made my first system. And then all cobbled up in this corner, I basically tried to do this. It was awful. It didn't really work because I couldn't create enough pressure. I don't know why that's on fire. I couldn't create enough pressure to power the system I needed to make this bad boy and everything else. I just couldn't do it. So eventually I made a secondary system using these liquid compressors, which were just the basic ones to begin with, because you cannot make the advanced ones without making the basic ones, or without getting into these advanced pipes, which you need this for, which I couldn't do. And then I also needed to get some plastic going for, actually this was hilarious. I needed to get a couple things going. What I needed to get to was these PCBs originally, just to make the drones. And I realized partway through, I don't need plastic to make the drones, but you do need them to program the drones. So I'm glad I followed the rabbit trail. Anyways, so in Pneumatic Craft, there are these drones, right? And I named this drone Bob, and Bob built stuff for us. I have another one that Taco has been working furiously on creating a system that generates coal to use as power generation from bees. And he's designing what he calls the perfect fuel drone. And so I renamed it Fuel Drone and took in my other one and tossed it at him. I heard no response, and then I logged off. So I'm sure he'll appreciate that at some point. But I had two of these bad boys. They're pretty cheap. You just need a couple turbine rotors with compressed iron, and then you need 4 of them to make the official drone guy. But then you need these printed circuit boards. Pain in the butt to get, especially your first ones. Oh my goodness. But you need the capacitors. I guess you do need plastic for the drones. I hadn't even really thought about that. You need capacitors, transistors, and an unassembled PCB, which, when you look at the crafting recipe, is only made by this. It's not entirely true. What you have to do is find the recipe for the empty PCB, which is green plastic and compressed iron. When you have the empty PCB, you need a bucket of etching acid. So you take the empty PCB and you put it in, I guess I broke it at some point and put it somewhere. I have what's called a UV light box, this guy, right? You just take this and you pop it on a pipe, so you give it some air, and you put your empty PCB in that UV light box, and it will slowly turn it into one of these bad boys, the unassembled ones, which you could technically only make with this laser assembly. So you don't need to worry about that. You can make them in this UV light box. Once it's at 100% in the UV light box, take it out and throw it in a puddle of etching acid. This stuff. Careful though, it does hurt. Right? So the etching acid actually hurts. After a little while, you can pick it up. It won't despawn. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes to get it to be a printed circuit board. Sorry, no, a unassembled PCB. Then you can craft it with the capacitors and the transistors, which are just black plastic, compressed steel, and compressed iron, redstone, and then blue plastic or rain plastic or something like that. I think it's blue plastic now, actually. So you can make those, and they're not hard to make. The thing is, the way that we have EE3 set up is it Equivalent Exchange scans everything and gives it EMC values. And I think Pneumatic Craft is actually designed to tell it its own EMC values, because it's one of the mods that was most thoroughly affected by EE, which is great. 1 second, let me fix something. There we go. So what I've done, what on earth just happened? Oh, it's daylight now, that's why. So what I've done is pretty simple. I took a nether star to Hollow, who has a huge EE setup, and I gave him a printed circuit board, which have an exchange value of 2,000. So he stuck it in his system. I pulled out, I was gonna grab a stack of them just to get going. I accidentally grabbed about 18 stacks of them. So we have loads of printed circuit boards now. So we don't gotta worry about that anymore. All right, so where are we now? To get the plastic, this is the big thing. To get the plastic, you need oil. So I had this bucket of oil, or this drum of oil I had sucked up with the little vacuum thingy from thermal expansion, and or this drum, and it wasn't full, but I realized I needed oil. So I took the drum, I brought it down here, set it up to pump into this refinery structure. So you can do this with 1. It's a lot more efficient if you do it with 4, but you can do it with 1, 2, 3, or 4. You put these refineries on top of each other, and they don't run on air. There's nowhere to give it air. You just need to give it oil, and you need to give it heat. So this is actually not the greatest system, because it's not producing that much pressure. This could go quite a bit faster. But oh, we're filling up, aren't we? Would you look at that? I'm gonna need a new system of storing these liquids. So you put oil in, and if you have 4 of these, it breaks it down into diesel, gasoline. So we got diesel, gasoline, kerosene, and LPG. This is the stuff you really want for plastic. So LPG I have piped out into one of these thermopneumatic processing plants. So what you do is you give it a bit of air and a bit of heat. So the way we're generating heat right now, I want to test and see if I can use the residual heat from these, but I'll talk about that, is using this vortex tube. It has no interface, you just gotta hope. There's a red side, there's a cool side. The cool side puts out cold air, obviously. And I'm beginning to wonder if I need to let that vent a little bit. So the cold side puts out cold air, the red side puts out hot air, and that hot air is heating up the refinery. If you can get 20 bars of pressure in here, apparently it's actually really quick, but with my 5 bars, it's not terrible. The other thing that I've realized, if you look at, there's a vortex chamber under here, because this machine under this mess also needs heat. And these need heat, but this different heat system, you can use lava or torches to help it. So I just put some lava near it, and it just so happens I put lava on top of him beside this vortex chamber, coincidentally, which is now sitting at a lovely 200 degrees Celsius, or 1,000 degrees Celsius on both sides. So I might put some lava over here, actually. Let's do that and see what happens. See if we can't get a little extra heat out of this bad boy. I don't know if this is intentional or not. I assume it is to a certain degree. Let's do... oh! My word. That scared me. So we'll let that heat up a little bit more. Yeah, the heat's rising. Awesome. Okay. So that'll speed that process up. So what I did is I set up a couple tesseracts to move power. I don't know why I did it this way in particular, but I daisy chained a couple of tesseracts together. There is an oil pump that you cannot see. I would like to turn off the setting by default for cave mode. Did that do it? No, it did not. One sec. While I'm sure there's a way to do that, I just came out here because I can't figure it out right now. I have an oil. Oh, there's some extra oil down here too. I should probably mark those for later use. There's a lot of good oil there. If we come on down here though, I might make an oil dimension if I need a lot more of it. But I've got an oil well set up here. That's what's given us our oil for this system. So the oil comes pumped in. It separates it out. Then we've got a couple things going on. One thing, if you want speed upgrades, which I desperately needed in this, the speed upgrades here, you'll see. You need lubricant buckets to craft those. And if we open this bad boy up, it's this crafting recipe with a lubricant bucket in the middle. So I was just crafting up a bunch of those. Lubricant is, there it is, redstone. Why is there diesel in here? Is that right? Oh, it is right. So, lubricant is diesel and redstone with some heat. Once it's hot, then you'll be good to go. There's no air pressure in this right now, so that's why it's not really functioning properly. For the plastic, though, you don't need the air pressure. You just need some heat. We got lots of heat, though. So what you need, though, for the plastic is to take this LPG and a bit of coal, and it turns it into liquid plastic, which we've got pulled into these buckets. And then you take 3 dyes, the red, the green, and the blue dye, and you put it in here with some heat and some of this liquid plastic. Then all you got to do is select what kind of plastic you want. You want blue plastic? Boom, there's your blue plastic. You want it just to make blue plastic until you got a ton. So say you need a stack of maybe we'll make something here in a minute that requires plastic. I don't know. Let's lock the selection in of I do want to make the RF compressor because it'll just be easier to work with, so I'll need a bit of red plastic, I think. No, don't even need that. I don't need much of any plastic right now. Okay, well, just for example, let's make some blue plastic. You just click that and it'll make it until you tell it to stop. So that's pretty huge right there. So that's how you make plastic now, though, in Pneumatic Craft. The old way is still in, but it will be removed eventually. Mind you, if it's anything like his system for creating the different programs for the assembly controller, like these guys here, these have been temporary for like a year at least. They're still in the game. So a lot of his recipes that are temporary or deprecated, he tends to leave in for a long time, from what I've seen. So you can make bigger controllers. I'm going to make a big one eventually. The thing with these advanced compressors is they create a lot of heat, and you have to get that heat out of here. So I've just got heat sinks on top. It's not the most efficient system in the world. Just realized I burnt through all of that. I had blaze rods being pumped into her. Then all we did is we created a program, which I have it on my other computer saved as a paste bin. But it was pretty simple. It was a program that if you put Bob in here, I don't think he has the program. No, he does not. And I don't have my login. So it was basically, you had a start program. What? with an area and a place block in that area, and then we had another area and we had a import from inventory, I believe. And so all you do is you right click on these, you take 2 GPS markers and you give it an area. So I gave him a GPS marker, these guys here, which are pretty easy. If you see, I'll just click on like this, for example. There, that's the area selected for that. So if you want just that block, then you put those 2 in and you're good to go. But I selected like a whole area. I did like here to here, for example, but I did corner to corner of my building. And then I gave this placing area these 2 GPS coordinates, right? So everywhere that you see green blocks is where the affected area of this program is. This is what it's gonna affect. So basically I had it placing blocks, all the blocks in this area in the drone's inventory, and it got blocks from another area which was that chest downstairs. So I programmed this area to link up to that chest. And then for this area I said walls, and if we stop and show it, yeah, you can see that it's no longer selecting the inside chunks of this area, it's just showing the walls. And then I said go to town. So it would start, it would have no blocks, so it would go get blocks, and it would come back, and then it would place them, and it built the whole thing all the way up in about 15 minutes. I was just watching TV and we were good to go. So that is Pneumatic Craft. I'm gonna go into that a little bit more because we're gonna play with that some more, but right now I got a couple things that I have to do. The first thing that I absolutely have to do is clean up my inventory. There we go, that's good for me. And then I gotta figure out why I cannot put this in here. Let me just try one more time, because I'm a little confused. Yeah, really, really weird. I thought I could put that in there. Maybe I need to have it linked up with a controller or something like that. I don't know. Anywhooser, the big idea here for me is I need to get some better armor, or I would like to. I don't need to. This armor is amazing, but I want to have some more armor. So, quantum flux. I've done some testing. This stuff is amazing. This battlesuit armor is incredible, but it's very, very, very expensive. So I need my pen. It's alright. Okay, so quantum flux. I need a bunch of battlesuit plates to start. These battlesuit plates are going to include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 13, 17, and 24. These are very expensive. So 24 times 4 is 96 glowing mangalloy. Oh boy, my math's, oh boy. Okay, so to start, I'm gonna need 96 mangalloy. Just this stuff, right? Which means I'm going to do this the really quick way, which is also the very expensive way, which means I need a heap ton of coal. Come on, coal. Home, bye. So steel, there we go. This is the cheap steel recipe. Let's try that for starters. Okie dokie. Oh yeah. I need this dust first, which I'm not sure I've ever crafted on screen before. It's really cheap though. Let's get a bit of gold nuggets going on here. I hope I have enough redstone in here to do this, but we'll take a stack for now. Bam. Mangalloy, a whole bunch. Wow, not enough steel, of course. Wow, not enough coal. See, I told you I was gonna need some. Bayek. What the? Go in there. All right, let's try more of this now. Oh, nice. So now we're actually just short on this, which I can make another stack of pretty easily. I think I ran out of redstone there. There we go. But a stack and a half. That might be enough. I don't really know. So then I need a bunch of these, and these are going to be problematic for us. So let me craft up everything that I need, and we'll be right back. All right, let's see how many of these we can come up with. All right, hopefully that's enough. Let's try to make a whole bunch of these, which, oh, I am now out of redstone again. Grab some redstone real quick to make up for that. Perfect. Okay. Grab a few stacks of those. I'm doing this quick because I have to go in a moment. And a bunch of those equals a whole bunch of those equals head, chest, legs, and oh my goodness, we're short a couple. What are we short on though? Mangalloy, of course. Steel, of course. Coal, of course. Hop on back up here to the resource cache. I gotta get these processing into normal resources automatically, because that's getting old. Grab a bunch of steel. You can always have extra steel. It's really not that big of a problem. Alright, do we have what we need to make the last few of these? I believe that is all we're going to need. 1, 2, boots. That should be everything exactly. So let's craft this stuff up. So downsides to this armor, it requires charge. Upsides, there are upgrades for it that will allow it to be very cool. It takes a good throttling more than the magical armor does. Still flight, can get some speed and all that stuff. It'll be good for us. And there was one other thing that was like amazing about it, and I think haste as well it gives us if I finish the crafting up. But that's where we're gonna stop it for now. I'm gonna do the rest of this because what has to happen now is I have to make a bunch of these upgrade tokens and different components, and it will give it these extra abilities. So I am going to work on that, and then next time we'll have a set of fully charged new armor. Alright guys, until next time though, I've been Toasty. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out here in the labs. Give me a like if you did, and we'll see you then. Deuces!